All right, Vincent, mate, thank you for jumping on the call with me. And
I will.
I'm very excited to kind of debrief your last 12 months, really. We were just speaking offline, and you've been in the program for just gone 12 months, actually, almost to the day. And in that time, over the last 5, 6 months, you've actually become a coach in the program, which is really exciting. And the way that that came about was actually through myself noticing your success, of course, with what you're doing, noticing you in the community, helping others as well. So it was a really natural kind of fit for to offer you the chance to coach in a formal capacity, which has been absolutely, amazing. Just sharing your journey and obviously your expertise as well. But we can jump into that in a little bit of a minute. But what I'd love to kind of kick off with is, I guess, like obviously just a bit about you and what you do as your business, and then we can jump into really like those first 6 months of this year, and then the second half if it comes to that. So, far
Yeah. I'm Vincent and I run Australian Theme, which is a website, and I sell prints and books. So I'm a photographer and a videographer. And in 2018, I started selling prints because people were asking, "Oh, I love your photos and I'd love to have it in my living room." And so I'm like, okay, I'll create a website. Yeah, just had that on the side, like a little side hustle for a few years until COVID kind of hit. The rest of my work as a freelancer just disappeared, and then I started having to build this little side business into my main business. But then after that, I kind of like things went back to normal, and I didn't really know how to run an online store really, and so it was kind of like, yeah, going along okay, and but I wasn't really sure what I was doing. And on the back of a good December last year, I was like, okay, well, there's something in there that I can explore more, and I want to. It's kind of like my own little baby, and I want to build it. And so, yeah, I joined the program in December last year. And yeah, that's how it started.
yeah. And so when you sort of last year or those last couple of years, was it like in the sense of, was it really sporadic and inconsistent, or what were kind of the challenges that you were going through as you were, I guess, figuring
Yeah,
stuff
I,
out?
I, I was mainly selling little things, and my average order was kind of around like, 60, $70. I was really struggling to sell the large pieces, like a print of like, when you buy art, it's around $1,000 or more than that. And that was kind of the difficulty of things. So that's why I was kind of going to the direction of like selling little books or little puzzles and things like that. And so yeah, when I joined in, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do, and I just have to figure it out. And part of it, like joining, it was also a personal thing, trying to figure out how my own business work, because selling art is different from selling anything else. And so it was a lot of work, like in a mindset on how to actually understand my audience and my business, and how to actually be successful. And I forgot your question while I was talking.
Mm.
What was the question?
I think it was more what the challenges you were sort of facing when it
The
was
challenges,
you on your own. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I had like months that were like, I didn't have time to really put much time into it. And so I had months were just like nothing. And then I would wait like Christmas time when like, people would actually come to me. I was kind of doing ads, but I wasn't able to really read the numbers. So I
Mm.
felt like they were working, but I was a bit scared to put more money into the ads because like it would work for like a couple of days and then not work. And I was like,
Mm.
well, I would panic and stop the ads. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that was kind of challenging to kind of understand how my business actually functioned to be able to scale it.
Yeah, yeah, it makes complete sense. And then, making that decision to ultimately jump in, and it's significant emotionally, but also, financially as well, jump into this program. What were there any reservations at the time? I know we had spoken a little bit, and then you finally said, "Yep, now's the right time." Were there any reservations initially about jumping into the Ecom Blueprint?
I think it was the right time for me because I knew that January was going to be more quiet, and I was going to have a lot of time to actually implement a lot of the program. So maybe at the beginning I was like a bit worried about spending more money. That just, when you're a freelancer, or when you're just by yourself, it was a little bit frightening. And I had the bad experience before, like having an agency running my ads, and I had no control of it, and I felt like they just spend the money, and I had no control, and it was just, not a fun thing. And
Yeah.
so, but the main thing that about this program was actually it was investing from in myself, and so I would learn new things, and I would be in control of all those things. And so I think that was the main thing that really got me into it, is that I was going to learn how to do it and be able to do it myself. So yeah.
Yeah, that's huge, and a great realization that that most people, when they do come in, want that for themselves, and they have to really, commit to it. Like, we obviously hold you guys really accountable to doing that. We'll give you all the support and all the tools and resources, but it's ultimately you that has to do and learn the thing, and you're so much better off. And it means that you're not reliant on outside sources like contractors and agencies if you don't need to be. Whereas a lot of people are, at the beck and call, if they put themselves in those positions where they say, oh, it's too hard, or, they're the experts, they should be able to do it for me, when it's like, that's a recipe for disaster for business owners. We see that happen all the time, where they get burnt by those sorts of things. So yeah, that's
Mm.
really, really important. And then, so going from, I think we are just saying that you went from last year, it was like 160-ish K total, to you're at like 360. Is that right for this year so far?
Uh,
Right?
yeah,
Is
but
that right?
I'm up to like 369, and it's almost mid December.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Amazing.
it's nearly three times what I did last year,
That's
which is,
awesome.
which is awesome.
Yeah,
And because it's my baby, it's my own business. It's even nicer because,
absolutely.
yeah, it's great. And I put goals for every month of the year. And yeah, like the yearly goal was 300, and I'm at 369. So like,
Yes.
it's great.
That's awesome.
And I try to build the goals every month. And, at the beginning, I was like, well, my goal is going to be 20,000 for the month.
Yeah.
And I did that. It worked, for the first 4 months. And then I got to 19, and then up to 33. And then, yeah, so it's a roller coaster, but I also learned to actually look at it, with a bit of distance. Because there's going to be good days and bad days. But then if you look at the whole month, and that's the main thing I learned from this program, if I look at it as an average, then I can see that I'm progressing or not. But yeah, so there's a lot of things like that that was very valuable.
Yeah. No, that's a really, really good point, is that we're so in the day to day, we're so worried, or thinking, or looking at the traffic levels on a daily, hourly basis sometimes, and to be able to zoom out and see, okay, yeah, I'm actually making progress, is also really important. And then, so as you get bigger and more seasoned, like, you go from daily, not necessarily tracking, you're always looking at your daily tracking numbers, but more daily, you call it analysis or conclusions, to weekly, to monthly, to kind of quarterly, really. And like, you would know, there's seasonality with every business, and yours as well. Everyone's got their own little nuances about when peaks and troughs actually occur. But
That's right.
having that knowledge is really empowering. Not to say, oh, we can rest when it's quiet. It's like, no, no, we go twice as hard when it's quiet, to know that we can slingshot forwards, like you mentioned before, going 19, and it's like bang, 33, just because you've done the work in that month as well. So
That's right.
that's really, really cool. Now, we spoke a little bit about ads. I know you got a lot more confidence and put a lot more spend behind your ads as well. What were the other big levers that have contributed to your growth, if you can recall?
Yeah, I think it was actually social proofing, because, like I was saying, for people to actually spend $1,000 on an artwork without even talking to me or meeting me, that involved a lot of things. And so I really studied how to try to understand how the person that comes to my website behave. And looking at data, I could see that people might come to my website 8, 9, 10 times over a month. before they purchase that one thing. And so understanding that process helped me really to kind of like creating all the flows and knowing how to talk to people and engage with them and put myself into it as well, because people don't, when they buy an artwork, they don't just buy a piece of a picture. They buy something that someone made, and that I think that was very important for me to realize while doing the going through the whole process. And so, yeah, it came down to reviews and just building the reviews. I probably had like 60 or 70 reviews when I started, and I'm about like 220. And really, the fact that people were able to see, oh, he's got 200 reviews, I can spend some money, and I'm confident that I'm going to get the thing because all those people said so. So yeah, that was kind of like being in the mindset that understanding the audience, so they would actually be comfortable to spend the money. So yeah, that was very important to me.
That's a really huge point and something that we value as customers of other people, restaurants, cafes, Amazon, right? But
Yeah,
we don't prioritize as business owners. Like 9 times out of 10, when we, and you would know this as a coach now, look at people's sites or look at their Facebook pages and ask them about reviews and like, oh, yeah, I got this going, or there's a couple down the bottom or something like that. When again, we as customers and consumers, that's what we're looking for most of the time. We've had people
yeah,
walk up to us in the street wearing our Karmic t-shirts and say, I bought from you because I saw you had 2,000, 3,000 reviews or something. Like that's just,
mm,
can't get more obvious than that feedback, but people are doing it without telling you. Like I said, we're looking at cafes and restaurants and reading the reviews before we go there. So what do you think people are doing when they come to your e-commerce store? And that's such
yeah,
a
exactly.
realization for you. And that's a significant number of reviews, a couple of hundred reviews, so that's massive power that people selling on behalf of you, basically,
Mm,
through word of
yeah,
mouth. So yeah, that's awesome, man. And so in terms of the program, I mean, you've been amazingly committed to it. You obviously got other things going on and whatnot, but you've taken responsibility. That's a big thing that I've noticed through you and noticed through other successful people. They do that. They take the responsibility upon themselves. They know it's up to them. We'll give you obviously all the tools and resources and support you all the way through. But that's been a really big thing for you and wanting to improve, every single day, even if it's just incrementally, right? And then preparing, executing, reviewing, and making sure we're improving, obviously, from what we'd just done and just learned. So, it's been absolutely awesome to see the progress. And man, 500,000 will be like a cakewalk for you next year. I have no doubt about that. We'll go obviously beyond that as well.
fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like it's just there. Don't worry about that. But what would you sort of say to people? Like, if you kind of recall, I know it's 12 months ago and it's hard to see when you're kind of on the other side of the fence, but like where you were, 12 months ago and a little bit frazzled, a little bit overwhelmed, knowing, maybe not even knowing you needed some help sort of thing. But what would you say to sort of say to people in that frame of mind or that position with where they're at with their business, where they're stuck or stagnated or wanting to grow faster? Like, what was
Yeah.
it that you did or you thought consciously or subconsciously looking back retrospectively that made you take action, I guess you could say? Like, do you have any sort of advice for
Yeah,
those
I
people?
guess like running an online store like this, it's kind of a lonely, or like when you run your own business, it's kind of a lonely kind of thing, and you don't have anyone to bounce ideas, and you might ask a friend who's a bit like in the industry but not really, like, hey, what do you think about this? And suddenly having not only like coaches that you can get in touch with, but also like the whole community. There's like 100 people. It's like a Facebook kind of thing, or like with a feed, and everyone posts something, and we all interact and answer people's questions when we know, and it's like a social media kind of platform. Suddenly, like I wasn't alone, and it's all like other people that actually do similar work than me and have the same problems, the day-to-day problems. And so suddenly, like I went from like a lonely kind of thing where I was working in my own house, and to like having a community around me that can answer and help me every day. And that's really, it was the most valuable thing for me. And so that, like, if you feel like that, like you're just kind of stuck and you're just like trying to find a solution, you just go on YouTube and watch a 10-minute video, and then it doesn't go anywhere because it's not exactly what you needed.
Mm.
And for me, that was like within a month, I probably like I had so many like hooray, oh, but that's it. That's the point. That's what I'm supposed to do. And so it kind of accelerated the growth enormously because I didn't have to search. I had people to help me. So yeah, the most valuable thing for me would be the community, and being able to kind of um, yeah, get help from everyone
Mm.
very quickly, and be able to help other people at the same time. So that was really valuable to me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's really great to hear. And similar, like I can definitely speak, the same way of when you feel stuck or stagnated, you're so just in your own world and in your own head. And the best thing to do is
Yep.
get out of that, but in the right environment, in the right group of people. Because as you say, my wife or like my friends or whatever who aren't doing what I do, they don't understand it. They can
Yeah. Yeah.
support emotionally, but it's like they can't really offer any guidance. And so being in a
No,
community, as you say,
they're just
yeah,
gonna give you the answer you want to hear. So
exactly, which is not what you need, right? So
no.
being in that environment with people, as you say, going through it day to day, really relevant, similar questions, experiences and stuff, just as you say, yep, this is what I need to do. That is so valuable to have that confidence, rightly or wrongly, because sometimes it's a matter of like, yep, that's good, keep going, you're good, perfect, because
Mm.
otherwise I would have stopped and stagnated or, lacked confidence. Or if it's like, oh no, pivot a little bit here, needs to be adjusted, now you're good, then that
Yeah.
is everything to progress. So
And it's motivating as well because we are a
yeah,
thing where we just share our wins, and like just seeing people being like, yeah, I've passed 10K this month, my
I
first
know,
time.
like it's
It's just
nothing, right?
motivating.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's just
sure.
like, yeah, congrats, and you kind of get motivated to do the same.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's very valuable instead of like being at home by yourself just watching YouTube videos. You know.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Well, dude, I mean, thank you so much for sharing that. I know it's going to be valuable for others watching on because I just love doing these chats mostly to show what's possible, honestly. And that, we never say that it's easy. It's simple, takes work, it is challenging, but you can get to where you want to go faster, and a lot
Yeah,
more kind of stress-free
and
than doing
and
things on
also
your
it's
own.
yeah, it's an investment to yourself. It's not spending money to get someone else to do the job,
Mm.
and then that's it, and then you can't change anything from it. It's actually investing into your own personal development, and that's a big difference for me. And that's why I was like, yeah, it's self-improvement, and it's a lot better than than getting other people to do the thing. So anyway, yeah.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, look, thank you so much for sharing. Really well done on obviously your last 12 months, man, and more to come. So thanks for
Yeah,
sharing that, buddy.
Stoke.
Really appreciate it.
Great.